On April 25, 1945, just 13 days after Franklin Roosevelt's death at Warm Springs, Eleanor Roosevelt stood in the San Francisco Opera House, the air buzzing with delegates from 50 nations attempting to craft peace from the ruins of war. And while she wore black for mourning, her eyes held something beyond grief. They held purpose, a purpose that no one in Washington had anticipated. President Truman had appointed her as one of 5 American delegates just 3 weeks into his accidental presidency, a move that initially seemed ceremonial, designed to honor Franklin's legacy. But Eleanor arrived with her own vision, insisting that the United Nations should reflect meaningful voices for smaller nations, challenging veto power debates, quietly captivating Soviet Foreign Minister Vladislav Molotov, and overshadowing Secretary of State Edward Stettinius. And the real power she wielded came not from protocol, but from the American people themselves, whose admiration polls showed in staggering numbers. From her My Day newspaper column reaching millions 6 days a week, to letters flooding Congress demanding stronger human rights provisions. Letters so numerous that Truman's advisors warned he was facing a parallel presidency of moral authority. A situation that only deepened as Eleanor bypassed State Department channels, met privately with Latin American delegates, corresponded directly with Churchill, and challenged Soviet delegates on colonial policies, while advocating positions that made American conservatives uneasy, transforming her from grieving widow into a figure wielding significant diplomatic influence without any official cabinet role. Attending classified briefings on Soviet intentions, occupation strategies for Germany and Japan, and atomic weapons development, all knowledge that Truman increasingly realized made her either his greatest asset or his most dangerous problem. And as he struggled with his unexpected role as president, haunted by the shadow of FDR and overwhelmed by Eleanor's influence, he discovered that she received 3 times as much correspondence from Americans in May 1945, guiding public sentiment on everything from re-enlistment to rent control. And Democratic leaders confirmed that her endorsement carried more weight than his for re-election campaigns, leaving Truman's cabinet meetings feeling like explorations of Roosevelt's ghost kingdom, officials still consulting Eleanor on matters they should have presented to him first. And intelligence briefings further complicating the balance, as Eleanor interpreted raw State Department cables and European conditions with the 12-year context of experience alongside Franklin, while military officials and diplomats alike treated her with authority, sometimes equal to the commander-in-chief. And public opinion confirmed the imbalance, with Americans trusting her over Truman in foreign policy decisions, forcing him to institute a quiet cabinet meeting ban in March 1946 to restrict her operational access while leaving her public and UN roles intact. A ban she navigated with extraordinary skill, building influence through alternative channels, strategy sessions with labor leaders, civil rights activists, and foreign diplomats, piecing together a more complete picture of Soviet expansion than even the CIA, collecting intelligence from Iranian women's groups, European socialists, refugee organizations, and trade unions, all while maintaining a network of contacts in Europe that gave her insight into Soviet troop movements, economic exploitation, and Communist Party infiltration. And as Truman struggled to assert authority, Eleanor continued to write her newspaper columns, campaign for candidates who shared her vision, influence UN committees on humanitarian and refugee policy, and maintain her position as a moral conscience for the nation, even when her perspectives publicly clashed with Truman on atomic energy policy, Palestine statehood, and labor strikes, demonstrating that her influence was rooted not in office, but in legitimacy, knowledge, and the trust of both the American public and international figures like Churchill and European Social Democrats, creating what Truman privately feared as a shadow administration, a parallel power structure loyal to Franklin's legacy rather than his own presidency, forcing him to confront unprecedented questions about accountability, loyalty, and governance. And ultimately, the outcome of this collision shaped the future role of American First Ladies, establishing unwritten rules that define the boundaries of family influence in government, ensuring that future presidential widows or children could wield soft power, advocate publicly and advise, but could never again sit in rooms where decisions were formally made. While Eleanor, undeterred, leveraged her independence to leave a legacy arguably more enduring than her work as First Lady, shaping human rights policy, guiding public opinion, and becoming the conscience of post-war American liberalism. A woman whose authority derived not from position, but from principle, intelligence, and unwavering dedication to the values she had championed alongside Franklin, forever transforming the boundaries of power, influence, and morality in American political life.
Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.